I'm going to show you how to make the different, how to add groups and categories and all that kind of shit. Okay, I'll just show you what everything is first. These are the groups. Obviously at the moment we've got cave, indoor, outdoor, dungeon. And these are empty, so nothing shows. These are categories. These up here are the subcategories. And then these below are obviously prefabs themselves. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to add things here. So how to add subcategories and objects in them, because that's the thing you're going to be doing like 90% of the time. We won't be adding categories and groups very often. And it's fairly automated, fairly straightforward. Okay. So the three folders you're going to be working with pretty much all the time, well 90% of the time, will be the prefabs folder. Sometimes you will need the scriptable objects folder and sometimes the textures folder. Try not to touch anything else. Some of these are just like thing packs that I've downloaded for whatever, like icons and shit like that I'll delete later on. But yeah, try not to mess with random shit because things can break really fucking easy in this. Okay. So I've already got 4 groups set up, and inside dungeon, so the dungeon group, we've got 2 categories already set up. So I'll just show you how to add something to, say, furniture, like something in here. And yeah, as you saw before, we've got the 2 packs. Pack 2, I think, has just got walls and fences. There's nothing else in there at the moment. So we'll add a new category to pack 2 or something. Okay, I mean a new subcategory. So if we're going prefabs, placeable objects, this is the structure of this is pretty important. So at the moment we've got dungeon, later we'll have cave, indoor, outdoor. So you have the group name first, followed by the pack name. At the moment there's, like you saw, there's 2 packs. You can't actually add a pack at the moment because it's hard coded in the code. Like, I've got the 2 packs hard coded at the moment. This stuff's going to have to be updated in the future to download packs from servers and DLC and all that kind of shit, but for now it's hard coded. So if you do need to add a pack, just let me know. There's a few things I need to add to get one in. So dungeon 2, structure. So you see we've got the same folder structure as you'd expect. Fences, we've got a couple of fences in there, we've got a couple of walls in there. So what I'll do, let's say I want to add some fucking houses. So create a new folder in here, houses. Now this pack, this Mega Fantasy Props pack, is just a load of prefab, just a thing that I've downloaded with a load of free shit in, so just for me to use for now. In fact, yeah, let's go for storage. There's more stuff in there. Delete houses. I'll just rename it actually. Obviously storage wouldn't go in structure. This is just to show you. So if we go storage, and I'll just grab all this shit and stick it all into storage. So we've got these. Now if I press play, what you'll see in the dungeon is that we've now got a new subcategory. These categories show up for everything. So like you'll see, if I disable dungeon 1, we're only looking at dungeon 2, it doesn't have any columns and doors. The categories are still there. Maybe we want to make these hide, but I have a feeling it'll be annoying if every time you toggle these hide, but we'll see, that's something for later. Anyway, so we've got our new storage group, and the name of this is taken from here. So if I call this storage lol, this would show storage lol. But there's nothing inside. Now the reason for that is, if you go into one of the existing ones and have a look at, say if I open this prefab, you'll notice it has this AssetDB prefab script attached, which has got a name and a preview sprite. The preview sprite is the image that appears, these are the previous prints. And obviously we don't have those for our storage. So what you're going to have to do every time you add a prefab, you're going to need to create a 2D image of the prefab. No, I'm only joking. I've automated that shit. So we go into, if I show you in textures, if you notice the path, got dungeon, dungeon 2, structure, and these. It's got textures, placeable objects, so it's the same there. Dungeons, the same path, dungeon 2, structure. We've got fences. Oh, I can ignore stuff. It's an old thing. We've got fences, walls, but we don't have storage. And inside these, obviously, you can see these images. Yeah, so we're going to need these images for our new storage prefabs, but not only that, we also need that script attached that you saw on the right that we don't have on these. So to handle that, if I just show you, if I delete, so I'll delete all these dungeon images and shit, if I press play now, all the objects will still show because they've got the script attached, but they don't have a valid image, so now they're all just fucking blank. Storage doesn't show because they don't have that script attached. These ones still do, these objects still have the script attached. Still have the script attached, they just don't have a sprite anymore. Okay, so to deal with this, I've created a script. If you click AssetDB up here, you'll see a little script here that says build previews. And what this will do is it's going to go through, we'll start here in the placeable objects folder, and it's going to go through everything. It will set up a little camera in the corner here. And then one by one it will put the prefab into the scene in front of the camera, essentially take a photo, save the photo, move on to the next, and it'll go through that for all of them. So you see we deleted all that shit here, but if I run this script, it's going to go through all the prefabs, taking pictures of everything. It's also going to apply the necessary script to them. So just wait for that to finish. At the moment, every single time you press this button, it goes through all the prefabs. So if we find out that eventually it's taking hours to run, then we might have to figure something out for that. But for now, that's okay. If we go and look at these storage ones now, you'll notice if I open chest, it's actually got this prefab. This script has been attached. The name's been applied. The name comes from the name of the prefabs. So we don't want our shit that says fucking shelf 001, cabinet 001. We want proper names, you know. But anyway, that's in there. And then if I go back and show you the folder, you'll notice dungeon is back. It's built the same path structure as we've set as our prefab structure. Now we go in storage, and we've got pictures of all the prefabs that we just did, which means now when we play the game, our new storage components will show because they've got the script attached. They need the script attached to even show in here in the first place, and then they need the image in the textures folder which has been generated. So now we can click chest and we've got chest or fucking, you know, whatever. All that shit works. All the usual functionality, you know, the read size and all that stuff. Okay. So that's how you add your prefabs basically, and you can do that as many times as you need. Again, if we look in Dungeon 1, it doesn't have anything in storage, but to solve that, all we have to do is, for example, we could take this, we could go into Dungeon 01, structure, and we could give this same folder, storage, and then we can stick one of these, so we'll stick this cupboard into there. Again, whenever we mess with the assets, we're going to need to run that script because obviously the texture for that asset is here. Safest thing to do when you're making changes really is just to delete the whole textures folder, just so that it gets rid of any old crap that's not used anymore, and rebuild everything. Obviously you don't have to do this for every single prefab one at a time. You can put all your shit in first, then just rebuild it all. Right, so now we've got dungeon, dungeon 1, structure. Now we've got storage in there with just a cupboard, so we press play. Let's see now, they'll both show in storage, but if we toggle the filters now, we've got the cupboard, or whatever the fuck this is, yeah, cupboard, as part of pack 1, and the rest isn't there. And the search will work based on the name, so if we just search cupboard, we get all the cupboards, doesn't matter which group it's in, and the filters also apply to the search results, which you can click. Yeah, search results will stay. You can close them. Alright, so that's prefabs. That's basically all you need to know to be able to add your own objects and just get going. You can add prefabs and subcategories that way. You notice when we put storage, obviously the names match here. If we renamed this one to storage, if it had a typo like 2 E's, then we'd have 2 subcategories, one with this one and one with that one, but when they're the same, it will just merge all the objects together. So columns will merge with the Dungeon 2 columns and everything. But they're still separated by group, so that's that. So now I'll show you how to add a group. Groups and, what do you call them? Groups and categories take a little bit more effort to add. They're a little bit more manual, but because we're not going to be adding groups and categories all that often, like, it's not worth the time to go through trying to automate things, and there's not really many ways to do it either. So okay, so that's the prefabs folder. For groups and categories, you're looking at the scriptable objects folder. You've got groups and categories here. If I open groups, you'll notice we've got the 4 that you recognise from the side. So to add a new group, you need to right click, create. I've added a little subfolder in here, so you've got asset group, asset category. We'll go for asset group. We'll call it test group. On the right here, you can give it you have to give it a name, test group, and an icon. So these are just some free icons I picked up from some packs. So for now, obviously we're not going to use these. We'll slap an icon on it. Ignore these asset categories for now, we'll go through that in a minute. If I press play though, it won't actually show, even though we just created it. And the reason is we need to add it to the addressables system, which is the new asset management thing that Unity is working towards, which is this. It's a little bit ugly. It's not the greatest thing. Hopefully they'll improve it. But there's no point us using anything else now, because this is what Unity is aiming to use and basically switch to, so we might as well get going with it, even though it's only in beta. To get this window open, you just need to go to Window, Asset Management, Addressable Assets. Okay, so to make our group show up, we add it into the groups group with the others. You'll notice these all have the tag asset group, so any group you want to add needs to be inside here. It needs to have the group asset group. Technically it doesn't need to be in here, it could be anywhere. All it needs to have is the tag asset group, but keep them in there because these are all basically like little like asset packs. So for example, Dungeon 1 we might bundle it with the game. Dungeon 2 we might bundle with the game. Dungeon 3 might be DLC from a server or something. So that's what all this shit deals with. Groups will always be bundled, at least at the moment, with the game. This set will, so just keep the groups in there, asset groups. So now when we press play, you know, so we've got our new group. Here, this is scrollable, so we can add as many groups as we want. Click on it, it's called test group. That name comes from not actually the name of the file, but the name. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was the name up here, but it's not. I'd have to fix that. Okay. So you got the icon, and now there's a new group. That's all you need to do to add a group. There's no order to them at the moment. Like, I haven't chosen to put cave at the top. It's just doing whatever it wants. If we need to change that, then I'll write something for that. But for now, it's fine. Okay, I want to delete that group though, and you'll notice when I delete the file, it'll delete from there. So that's cool. Adding a category is probably the most, I won't say complex, but the most manual steps. So every category belongs to a group. So if we look at that, we've got two categories inside those groups. We've got different categories. We've got dungeon furniture and dungeon structure. And to add a new one, you need to right click, create, assets, asset category. Quite like dungeon. Yes. And you see on the right you've got space for a name and the 4 images. Now I don't actually have 4 images. I mean technically I would try the images that you sent me. No, fuck that for now. That's how you create the category. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete one of the existing ones because I've got all the images and everything. So I'm going to delete dungeon furniture. And then we'll add it again. So we're going to add dungeon. Now this asset categories is where you'll store the list of each category that belongs to this group. So at the moment now I've just got one in there, which is structure, and we're going to want to add the furniture category. So first thing we're going to do, go into categories, we'll create our new category, which will be dungeon furniture. And we'll go back to our group, which is our dungeon group, where we need to add it. Now the way to do this is, we've got 1 in there at the moment, we'll change that to a 2. And this little padlock up here, if you notice, obviously when I click different things it keeps changing the fucking UI. So if you just click the padlock, it will lock it onto dungeon. So you can go back into categories. In fact, let me run it first. I'll just show you that the category's not there. Okay, so it's gone. The furniture's completely gone. The assets that would have gone into furniture when it loads have just not gone anywhere because it couldn't find a category that matched furniture. So. Okay, so if we click on dungeon furniture, and in fact we don't want this, so I'll set this back to 2, and I'll throw dungeon furniture in there, so now we've got our 2 categories. But something that I didn't do is set this up, so we'll call it furniture. Now these are the 4 images that you remember sending on Skype and stuff, the different ones. So I'll add these, so we've got selected, got selected hover, we've got deselected and deselected hover. You notice the images, they're, like I said before, they're all the same size with just, they all overlap. So now when I press play, it's back, we've got our furniture. The way that the loader works is when it first loads up, it'll look through prefabs, look for groups. So it will look, because it's called dungeon, it will look for a group with the name dungeon. If it can't find one, then these won't be loaded. I mean, it did find one, because if we look at our groups, we've got one with the name dungeon, so it found that. Next thing it will do, once we're in dungeon, is these are the packs. If we go into dungeon 01, furniture and structure, again it's going to look at the name, so it says okay, these go into dungeon/furniture. So it's going to look to see if we've got a furniture category, which we now do, that belongs to dungeon. So those will load, and then these you've seen, the names for these, they're just the subcategories. So that's how you add groups, categories. Something I need to show you for these category images. Where we're placing these is in the textures folder. In categories, placeable objects is the auto-generated stuff, you don't need to worry. Categories is where I've made those images. Now, one thing you need to do for every image that you place in here, you need to make sure that the texture type is set as sprite. You need to make sure that the mesh type is set to full rect. I think by default it's on tight, so you need to change that to full rect. And you need to make sure that read-write enabled is on. So those 3 things: sprite, full rect, read-write enabled. otherwise they won't work. If you try to click them, it'll be all fucked up anyway, detect the mouse properly and all that sort of shit. Okay, so that's how you add those. We've got groups, we've done categories, subcategories, prefabs. Okay. So at the moment, this is another thing for subcategories, for the different packs. So at the moment I only added objects to existing categories. So if we go into prefabs and we go placeable objects, dungeon 2, structure is already there. Now if let's say you wanted to add furniture to the second dungeon, create folder, furniture. That's not going to do anything because it's not in here. It's not listed as part of this pack. So to fix that, for fuck's sake, prefab, okay, 2, you need to drag that up and place it into the pack. Okay, and then it needs 2 tags. Every group, every object, every category that's part of a group needs to be placeable, and then it also needs the tag for the group it belongs to. So again, there's only 2 in there at the moment. For now, you just have to let me know if you need to add a new group. But we'll place it as Dungeon 02. If I set that as Dungeon 01, then obviously it's going to think it's part of Dungeon 01, whatever goes in there, which is not right. So we go for Dungeon 02. There's no objects in there at the moment because I haven't put anything in there, but then inside there we could go and put a folder called like, I don't know, I'll show you. If we add castle walls, like fuck it, I don't know, furniture. We'll put some, fuck it, I'll just put some boxes in there. So if we go to furniture, that we just added, create a new subcategory called boxes. It's the same shit that we did before, so we're called boxes, and then inside boxes we will just put these boxes. Take those, put them into our boxes. Now again, they're not going to show up because we need to go into this, build our previews. Should have stopped the game really, but whatever. Now when we press play, we go to furniture. Now you see we've got boxes, and here's all our boxes, and they are part of Dungeon 2. Right. So if I change that addressables tag to Dungeon 1, press play, then you notice that even though they're in the Dungeon 2 group, they will actually become part of Dungeon 1. No, there's nothing in Dungeon 2. So this addressable system is important for setting up our shit. We need to get the tags, we need to make sure the tags are right, we need to make sure groups have got the asset group tag, and whatever. As we add packs in future, like I say, we'll have Dungeon 3, Dungeon 4, Cave 1, Cave 2, with better names. These are shit names. And yeah, so this one might be on the server, this one might be bundled with the game, the other one might be, like, I don't know, all sorts of shit. I haven't even got that far yet to the server stuff. And I think that's everything. Is there anything I've missed? I think that is the lot. And the search, by the way, like I said, is based on name. So if we search box, in dungeon, not in cave, we search box. We've got search results, this category. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there's a little bug then. I'll have to sort that out. But if I'm in here and I search box, now we get the boxes. So if we go back to search results, there's the box. And if we search box.003, now that So I think that's everything. If you get stuck, let me know. Like I say, the main thing you're going to be doing 80% of the time is just adding more subcategories and prefabs in them, which is easy. Then it gets a bit more complex when you have to add new subcategories, new categories, sorry. Groups are fairly simple. Okay.